So you're thinking about moving to Salem, Oregon, and you notice this little place called Keizer, and you're wondering what's going on over there? Well, you are in the right spot, because in today's video, I'm going to be talking about Keizer, Oregon, and we'll be talking about the town a little bit, talking about things to do in the area, and of course, like we always do, we'll be looking at a few houses in a few different price ranges. So let's get right to it. If you're new to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living here in Salem, Oregon or Keizer, Oregon, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be the first to learn about the current market here in the Mid-Willamette Valley. My name is Ryan, and I get calls, texts, and emails from people just like you who are thinking of moving to the Salem area. So whether you need to move in a day, a week, a month, or a year, feel free to give me a call, text, email, or schedule a Zoom call with me. I'd be happy to help you make a smooth move to Salem, Oregon. So today we are talking about Keizer, Oregon. And now if you are new to the area and you're just looking around on the map, you might have noticed Keizer on the north side of Salem and thought maybe it was just another section of Salem, kind of like we have West Salem, South Salem, Central Salem. All these areas, by the way, I have videos on, so if you want to know more about those, find that playlist. But Keizer, Oregon kind of just looks like one of those areas, and it kind of is, but it is actually its own city. Now, it's not a super old city. It was actually only established here in 1982. Before that, the city of Salem tried to annex it into itself several times, but the residents here decided to vote and just become their own city. Figured it'd be a little bit cheaper than joining Salem. Now, Keizer is quite a bit smaller than Salem. It's only about 40,000 residents here, making it a fairly small town. And as you go through Keizer, you definitely get a little bit of that small town feel. A little more community, a little bit slower pace of life here in Keizer. Not that Salem is a fast pace of life, but it does just feel a little bit more laid back in the Keizer area. And since Keizer is its own city, it's going to have its own city hall, some of its own regulations, its own city council and mayor. It does have its own schools, but they are a part of the Salem-Keizer School District. So Salem and Keizer are a part of the same district, but if you're in Keizer, you're going to go to a school in Keizer. And there are 7 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, and 1 high school, which is McNary. McNary is a 6A high school, and it has about 2,000 students. It is rated fairly well as far as the local schools go here, but I would definitely check out niche.com or greatschools.com or .org. I can never remember on that one. Different people have different views on what makes a great school, so I would definitely recommend you doing your own research, because I don't know what the important things are to you when it comes to schooling. So I'll let you make that decision when it comes to you and your family. And since Keizer is its own little city, it has quite a few community events. I feel like it has more community events than Salem does. Just trying to keep that little sense of community that it has. One of the bigger events is going to be Keizer Fest, and this is happening in August. They used to have an event called the Iris Festival, and I feel like that kind of got absorbed into the Keizer Fest since irises aren't quite as big of a deal as they used to be in the area. But Keizer Fest, they have a carnival, parade, I think they have a car show this year, and they have a little vendor area, and it's kind of all over town. Most of the stuff is going to be at the Keizer Rapids Park, which we will talk about more later. They also do a holiday lights parade, which is definitely very popular among the kids because a lot of the people in the parade are throwing out a lot of candy. So definitely, if you're a kid, bring a bucket to that one. And then there's also a holiday lights display, which is one of the neighborhoods here in Keizer has a pretty high population of the houses in the neighborhood put on pretty nice holiday lights. And this is kind of a fundraiser where you can donate some canned food at the beginning of the display through the neighborhood. So that way you can help some local family in need and have a fun time out one evening in the holiday time looking at the holiday lights. And then for real estate here in Keizer, it really is not very different from Salem. Now Keizer is quite a bit smaller, so you're going to have less volume here in Keizer, but as far as price goes, it is fairly similar to Salem. If you're looking at statistics, the numbers fluctuate quite a bit more, but that's just because there's not as many houses going for sale, so it can't hold a steady average quite as well as Salem can. And just to give you an idea of scale for Salem compared to Keizer, there are about 238 active listings in Salem right now, but there's only 50 in Keizer. So it is about 20% of the size of the Salem market, making it quite a bit smaller. If you are looking to buy a house in Keizer, one of the great benefits is the property taxes are just a little bit lower. It's about 1.8 in Salem, but here in Keizer it's about 1.5. So it's not a huge difference, but every little amount does help. And again, Keizer is not a huge place, so there's not a lot of activity going around here. I am here and we are in the biggest shopping area in Keizer and actually one of the biggest shopping areas in Salem. This is Keizer Station. There are lots of different shops here. It's not a mall, they're all outdoor storefronts, but it is a big area of shopping. It's not just this is just one of the bigger complexes. Across the street there are quite a few more stores. Some popular ones, there's a guitar center over there, some wedding stores, craft stores over here. There's an OSU Beaver store if you're looking for some fan merch. I forget what all is out here because I don't like shopping, so I don't go that much. But there's a Marshall's, a Staples, a Michael's, a good craft store. There's a Famous Footwear over there. I think there's a pet store in here, a GameStop. There's lots of restaurants in here. There's a Target across the street, and then there's also an REI, which is a very popular Northwest outdoor adventure store. Some notable fast food in the area. There is an In-N-Out, which is the only In-N-Out really close to here, and it's fairly new. And then there is also a Chick-fil-A that came into Keizer Station just a little bit after the In-N-Out, and there's actually a second Chick-fil-A that moved into South Salem. There's one other thing worth mentioning here in Keizer Station to you, and that is the Volcano Stadium. It is right behind the Target, and this is our own professional sports team here in Salem, the only professional sports team in the Salem-Keizer area, and it is just a little baseball team. It used to be a minor league for one of the MLB teams, but a few years ago when they decided to shrink down their minor league teams, Volcanoes was one of the teams that got cut. And so now it is actually a Mavericks independent league, which only has 4 teams in it, and they're all local here. There's one in Portland. There's 1 or 2 in Portland, and I think 2 here in Salem that are competing with each other. And they're trying to become a little bit bigger of a league and get some more teams involved with them. But it's a very cool local sports team, and if you want to go check out a game, they're starting at $6 a ticket, so very cheap, very affordable to go watch one of those games. Also in Keizer, there is a golf club called McNary Golf Club. Now this is a members only club, but it is not exclusive, as in anyone can join and become a member. So that is one to check out if you are into golf. But there is not a lot else to do here in Keizer. There's a bowling alley, and then there really are just the parks here in Keizer. Keizer has a creek going through it called Claggett Creek, and there are quite a few little parks going along those, and that's going through a neighborhood area, so there are going to be smaller parks off the edges of the neighborhood, and there's a trail connecting a lot of those together, which can be a nice place to go through, especially if you're living in those neighborhoods. And then the main park here in Keizer is going to be Keizer Rapids, and this is a pretty big park, has quite a few things to do there. There's a really nice play structure for kids, there's a nice off-leash dog area, there's some sand volleyball pits. It is right on the Willamette River, so there's a boat launch there, and a very popular spot to either end or start a float trip if you're looking to float on the Willamette River. I know some people have very strong opinions about not going on the Willamette River, but in my opinion, it's a great river to float on. And the park also has a nice disc golf course, which great thing is it is away from all those other activities. So while you're doing those other things, you don't have to worry about getting hit in the head with someone throwing a disc the wrong direction. So it is a cool little course to check out. Now, one of the downfalls of Keizer is there's not a lot of those upscale restaurants. There are a few nice little breweries or a German place here in Keizer Station. But if you're looking for some of those more mom and pop places or local restaurants that aren't big chains, there's not a ton of those. There are quite a few of little casual mom and pop restaurants. Most of those are going to be off of River Road, and some good restaurants to check out there. There's Pho Keizer or Faux Keizer. I can never remember which one of those it is. That's definitely a good place. My wife and I have gone there on a few dates. And then there's a new ramen house that I want to try next to the Physique Fitness in Keizer. It did take over my wife's favorite Thai restaurant, which apparently went out of business. So she was a little bit sad about that, but I'm still excited to try out the new ramen house. If you're looking for some sushi, there's Ocean Sushi and teriyaki, which I've heard is really good. I've been in there a few times. I'm not a huge sushi fan, so I didn't get sushi, but definitely a place you could check out. Then if you want some Mexican, La Hacienda Real is always a great spot. There's a few of those throughout the Salem area, and they're always good. And then my wife's personal favorite, she'd be mad at me if I didn't mention it, is going to be Chen's Dynasty. It is a little hole-in-the-wall, very casual Chinese restaurant. She thinks it's the best one in Keizer Salem area. I'm still on the search for the best Chinese food restaurant in Salem. I'm not quite sure it's Chen's, but it could be. They do have really good General Tso's chicken. But I think that is a good summary here of what you can find in Keizer. But now let's go look at a few houses. We're going to be looking at a few in different price ranges, so let's get right to it. And we are coming up on our first house of the day, and we are starting off at the lower end of the price range where you're going to find your starter homes. And this house right here behind me is on the end of a cul-de-sac, quiet little neighborhood here in kind of southwest Keizer. We are not too far away from the river. You hear a siren going off right now. I think it might be noon. That's probably the test alarm at the fire station. That is not too far away. But again, this house right here, we are listed at $340,000. It's just that cute little 3-bedroom, 1-bath starter home. Just, I think, 1,068 square feet. And the price per square foot is $318 per square foot. Now, inside of the house, it is very nice, very nicely done. It's not super updated, but it is also not dated. So you could definitely move in and enjoy it as it is, but you might want to do a few fixes just to make it up more towards your style. Now, this house is a little unique, as in it is in the cul-de-sac, and the lot's more triangular shape, but there on the side of the house, hopefully you can see that, it has some concrete back there, and you can park a motorhome on the side of your house, which is not very common, and definitely a nice feature, especially on this size of house. You usually get those when you get bigger houses on bigger lots, where you get the space for the motorhome. So definitely a cute little spot. Again, quiet little neighborhood besides that alarm going off at noon for the test. And I forgot to mention one other great part about this neighborhood is it is next to the Willamette River. So depending on how far off of River Road you are, you get a little bit closer to the river, which is actually that way over there. You can see all those trees off in the distance. Those far ones are on the edge of the river. And so a lot of these neighborhoods are in very good walking distance to parks on the edges of the river. This one in particular is only about 0.3 miles away. So about a 6-minute walk, and then you could be at the river. It's not a huge park, this one right here, but there are some bigger ones. I think Sunset Park's one of the nicer ones along the river. So that's definitely a little bit of a perk when you're in this area. But that wraps up this house, so let's get on to the next one. Here we are at the second house of the day, and kind of third, but we will talk about that one more in just a second. And it is this house right here behind me. Now I am on the end of a cul-de-sac in this quiet little neighborhood. It is the Country Glen neighborhood. This house right here, again, a cul-de-sac house. I just know how to pick them this time apparently. But again, very triangular shaped lot, so not much of a street curb, just because most of the house is hidden back there. The side of the house over there does have spot to park an RV. Again, not very common, but it happened again on this one. Struck gold twice in a row at this place. This house is listed right at $475,000. It is a 4-bed, 2-bath. It is just under 1,600 square feet, and that takes the price per square foot to just under $300 per square foot. And this house is very well updated, has a lot of new features, new roof, new paint, newly remodeled inside, and a lot of good characters that way. It is a little bit more expensive, price per square foot wise, but I think that is just because they've done all that work to it very recently, and it's in this nice quiet little neighborhood. Now the Country Glen neighborhood does have a lot of duplexes and rentals up on the entrance of the area, but down here closer to the park area, there's more single family homes and a few less rentals, and it's a little bit quieter down here. Now, as you can tell, it is just a stone's throw away from the Country Glen Park, which is right there behind me and goes back there. A nice little walking area and a playground. And then I am actually on a little footbridge here that connects to the other neighborhood where we are going to be looking at our next house. And to save you from watching me walk for the next 2 or 3 minutes, we are just going to jump to the next one. Well, I was a little bit too focused on filming and I actually missed the turn. It's not a very long walk to get here, but I didn't actually have to cross that creek. There's just a little trail that connects to this neighborhood we are currently in, and we are here right now. This house right behind me over this shoulder is going to be the house we are looking at today, and it is a beautiful house in this very beautiful and quiet neighborhood. And unlike the other ones, this one is not on a cul-de-sac, so it has that really nice curb appeal, really nice presentation as other people are driving by it. This house is listed at $635,000. It is the most expensive one we are looking at today, but it's also the biggest. It is just huge. It is 2,975 square feet. It has 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms. And I did those out of order, but the price per square foot on this one is $213 per square foot. Now, as you can tell, the neighborhood looks really nice. The other houses in the area are priced fairly similar, again, depending on how big they are. All the other neighbors are doing a great job upkeeping their yards and their landscaping, and the fronts of their houses are all looking really nice, keeping those property values nice and high in this area. One of the reasons it is looking so nice around here is because we are in an HOA area. This is the Hidden Creek Estates. They do have a very reasonable HOA fee. It is just $267 per year. So not even per month, just per year. So your monthly payments, if you're doing a monthly, aren't going to be that high. But just to show you where I came from, down the street, that green space down there, there's a little trail that connects to the Country Glen Park. So in this neighborhood, you get this nice quiet neighborhood, and you still get connected to that nice public park where you can go maybe play with your kids or a dog. So that is a good summary of these 2 houses, really. Let's get on to the 4th and last house of the day. And here we are at the last house of the day. Now we are in another one of these private communities with an HOA fee. This HOA is only $175 a month, but all it really covers is the maintenance of the wall at the entrance of the property. Now this is a fairly small development. It just has a little cul-de-sac here and a little cul-de-sac on the end, and the house we're looking at is actually the corner lot here on my left. This development was built around 1997, at least that's when this house was built. It doesn't look like it has been updated on the inside really since then. The inside is very clean, it looks nice, but it is kind of that fine line between dated and updated. So it has those oak cabinetry, not really the most modern appliances. It does look nice. I think some of the appliances have been upgraded to the stainless steel, but some of them are the original. I think the white appliances is what was in back then when this was built. So it is nice looking inside, but again, not super updated. For some reason, whatever reason, it does have a RV parking on the side of the house. We've hit 3 of those today. I'm not sure why. I wasn't looking for those specifically, but that just ended up what we came up with today. Now this house is listed at right between the last 2 we were looking at just $550,000. It does have the most bedrooms. It is a 4-bedroom house, and it has 2.5 bathrooms. Now it is a little bit smaller than the most expensive one we looked at. It is just 2,256 square feet, but the price per square foot is $244 per square foot. So it is a pretty good deal. You're getting a really good sized house. Houses in this price range, in the square footage range, really vary on how many bedrooms they have. Some people prioritize having more bedrooms because they have a larger family. And then some other builders prioritize having more space in the house, more living space, and bigger bedrooms, so it's more comfortable. So it all depends on what you need for you and your family. But all in all, this is a good buy. And again, that older house, so you have that chance to maybe do some of those upgrades in 10, 15 years if you want to, or you can just live in it how it is. But that is all we have for this house. And that is actually all we have for the video. So I want to thank you for watching the video. And that was Keizer, Oregon. We'll be pumping out a few more videos about the area, I'm sure, in the future. But if there's any areas in or around Salem that you guys want to learn about, feel free to drop those in the comments and I will get to them. I'm happy to make these videos for you guys and just trying to help you guys get a better feel for the area in and around Salem. But for now, I just want to thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you around town.